Alright, in today's video, let me show you how I installed the PowerFlex passenger motor mount bushing. I got it over at Raptor Racing. They had a couple different options. They had the race spec bushing, as well as they had the street spec version, and I went with the race version because it's more stiffer. It just slides in the existing motor mount, and it's supposed to reduce wheel hop and all that. And so the tools you're going to need is a floor jack. I got a low profile floor jack by Motorcraft that I'm using. And next you're going to want a jack stand to hold up the vehicle. You can use two, but I just used one in the video. And next up you're going to want an 18mm socket and a 15mm socket, along with a couple extensions. The more extensions you have, the better. And then you're going to want a ratcheting wrench, along with a 3/16 wrench and a torque wrench. So the first thing you're going to do now is you're going to get a jack. You're going to lift up the car and put it on a jack stand. Once the car's in the air, you're then going to get a jack and you're going to support the engine using the jack. Make sure to not put too much pressure on the engine as you'll crack the oil pan, but just enough so that when you take the motor mount, it'll stay in the same position as it was before. And now once we got the car up in there, we're going to go under the hood and we're going to remove the coolant reservoir. There's just two clips holding that in place, so if you just give it a tug, it'll pop right out. Once we got it off, we're just going to put it out the way. Now I'm going to take off the three nuts that are connecting to the motor. Those ones are in 18mm, and you're going to use a socket extension so you're able to get to them. Alright, next up you're going to have to get rid of the bolts that are on the vehicle side of the car. It's 3 bolts and they're 50mm. You're going to need a really big extension to get to the one in the back. They were a little bit rusty when I was taking them off, so I got some PB Blaster, and after spraying up the PB Blaster they came out no problem. Once you get all the bolts out, you can just pull the passenger motor mount. It might be a little tight at first, but if you give it a good yank, it'll come out. So that just slides in there. This is a 13/16 wrench. Get something else there. Set it up. Once you get the motor mount off, you then want to get a wrench and slide it in between the motor mount and the bracket. And then you want to get a socket wrench with a 18mm socket. And then you want to do the bolt head while holding the wrench. The bolt was super stubborn and I couldn't get it out, so I had to ask my dad to step on the wrench so I was able to get more leverage to open it up. And then after you get it out, the two parts will separate and you can just take the rubber grommet off. And then after you get it off, you can slide the bushing on. There'll be a notch in the bushing and you just align it with the notch in the mount. I did have some trouble installing the bushing as it wouldn't fully close around the notch, but as you tighten the bushing, it closes on its own. Once you got the PowerFlex bushing on, you can put back the little rubber grommet thingy and you can put back the upper part of the mount. And make sure to align the mount as how it was when you got it off the vehicle, otherwise it wouldn't fit and you're gonna have to realign it again. When tightening the bolt, don't make it too tight, just make it snug. Alright, so I couldn't really get the bushing to fully close in here, so it's not like really fully closing. It's a pretty tight fit in there. And now I'm just putting the motor mount back into the car, and right now I'm just snugging the bolts up, and later I'll go over and torque them down. And here's all the torque specs for the bolts and nuts that you're gonna need to follow. Feel free to take a screenshot or pause the video or something. And now once you're done torquing everything up, you can put the coolant reservoir back in and put everything back together. And by installing this bushing, you not only improve the lifespan of the motor mount, but it also reduces the chances of wheel hopping, which I had a problem with, giving you more traction and all that. It also makes the engine feel more responsive. If you got this far, thanks for watching my video, and don't forget to like the video and leave a comment and subscribe and all that.